All right, guys, we are back from Tx2k, and I am pretty pumped about how the car did. It did freaking awesome. It was ripping, it was consistent, it was fast. We did some adjustments. We got it going straight instead of trying to pull left, and I got that figured out for the most part. Still some more testing to do, and I think we're on the right direction at least. Super excited about it though. This car, it blew me away. We went there with not knowing whether we were going to even make a pass, and then we came back like pumped on personal best, going 760s easily. Our previous personal best was like a 775 in really good weather, and now we're just cracking off 760s like it was made to do that. 490s easily. Freaking awesome. So pumped about that. But as you guys probably saw, there's obviously a lot that needs to be done. I still have to unpack most of my stuff. It's all kind of all over the place. Back here, I have a fuel pump, MagnaFuel 750, and this thing needs to get sent out to be rebuilt. So it's seen better days. It's a little rough. It should come out pretty easily. And yeah, this thing needs a little swap. And now I can show you guys. So under here, I was adjusting anti-roll bar right here, end link, adding some preload to this side, and whatever, adding some rear steer to this side, I guess you could say, trying to straighten out the car, make it track straight. As you add more power, as you start 60 footing harder and 330 harder, the car is gonna do more weird things like that, and that's one of the weird things we found it doing. Next up, I'm gonna change the oil, check the trans fluid, make sure that it's all good, see how it's looking after we just went through it. As you guys can see, there's no dump valve on it, so we're getting up on the brake in 2.5 seconds, no dump valve, new converter, and nitrous, and yeah, nitrous. So super sick that we could do that it was able to pull that out. But I'm gonna go through it, check on everything, see how it's all looking. Check under here, make sure it's all good. I got some other stuff to take care of on the car, just nut and bolt it because we have some other stuff coming up very soon. I want to also put some new front end travel limiters on this thing because as you can see, these are all bent up and all ruined after like 3 years of hard abuse on them. I mean, even right now, that's the only thing holding the tire from going down. Over here, same deal, holding the tire from going down. Mac valve I would like to replace up here somewhere. I'm not used to looking at it from this angle. Mac valves, I would like to replace those. They're cheap and mine seem to be acting a little weird, so replace those. And then, you know, just go through the whole car, drain the fuel, because I kind of have to. I'm gonna check the fuel filters, this one back here, and then one up in the engine bay, make sure those aren't cooked, change all the fluids, and we should be good. And then after I take this out, I want to go through some of the data with you guys, talk about time slips. I don't always do this, but I do think that some of you guys care about it. I want to, you know, lay out all the time slips, show you what we're looking at, show you what is kind of going on here, and then we can go from there. So let's get to it. Okay, well, I just took this out and I got fuel on the ground, filled up almost 2 of those, and the fuel filter's out. Next up is the fuel pump. Got some fuel on the ground, should clean the floors nicely. Fuel filter looks pretty good, so just scraped a little bit of debris out of there. There's a little bit in there, but all around looks pretty good. Gonna put this back together and pop it back in. Okay, MagnaFuel 750 is out. I do have another one of these. I keep it in chip on the car, installed in use. So if I do need to race this car in the next like couple days, I can just take it out, race it, and kind of put it back in, or wait for this one to come back for this car, for chip, and do a little swip swap. That's why I use this same fuel pump in 2 cars. So time to ship this thing out, and hopefully it comes back pretty soon. I was up at Induction today and we were hanging out and we were talking about my car, and they were showing me some of these new Turbo Smart blow-off valves, and look at how nice that looks. It's so much smaller than the one that I'm taking off, so it's gonna definitely be a bit of a visual upgrade. Hides like nicely over here. Look at how nice that looks. A little bit smaller, kind of just a little bit cleaner looking. And recently, before Tx2k, I put on Turbo Smart wastegates, these hyper gates. Pretty nice, clean look, and they worked really well for me. So induction performance got me hooked up on all this new stuff, and I am pumped about it. Can't wait to freshen everything up. It's nice to, you know, after this long of running the car, things just start to go. Seals start to go bad. O-rings start to go bad, so it kind of just makes sense to go through things. I mean, first time the fuel pump's been off, new wastegates, new blow-off valve, just things like that that are just wear items eventually on a race car. You know, once you put that many heat cycles through things and you're that hard on things, you're gonna have issues like this. So we're just gonna keep upgrading things as we go. All right, just digging through here. No real glistening at all. Looks good. Engine's pretty healthy. Kind of looks like it on the camera that there's glistening, but there's actually not. It's just the oil being a little reflective. Super excited about that. Cut open the filter, as I do. This is nothing new if you watch the channel a lot. And time to do a little fluid change. All right, guys, as you can see here, I'm in the podcast studio, and I'm just looking at some data, just kind of going through some things. I figured some of you guys like the nerdy talk. I'm not exactly smart enough to talk too nerdy to you, but I can try my best, and we got some good audio and video, so I figured this would be fun. This is actually kind of cool. I have my time slips here. I got some videos you guys didn't see. I got my data here. I'm just going to go through a few things. So obviously, you guys know we put a different converter in the car before Tx2k. We didn't know how it was going to act, and it acted really well. So my buddy Pedro, huge thank you to him for donating me that converter, basically, because he knew if that thing worked, he wasn't getting it back. And lo and behold, he's not getting it back. So I talked to Jason at ATF, who set up the converter, and we kind of just went back and forth, and he's like, well, it kind of works out because I got a couple things I want to try on Pedro's car. So Pedro's going to get a brand new upgraded converter. I am going to keep his old one, and then everybody wins. But you guys could obviously tell that the car was working much, much better with the new converter. So we just put it in, didn't really do much, went out there, tested it, and it was freaking great. Obviously, Alpha was doing some tuning and stuff on it. You know, I kept sending him data logs because fueling is different and stuff. The load is different. So all those good things kind of equate to changes that we obviously had to make. I did want to show you on the last pass. So the last pass, I was very close to being good on the tree. I don't know if I'm a little slow now because we're leaving 400 RPM sooner. So not 400 RPM sooner. So we used to leave at 6,200 RPM, but now we're leaving at 5,800 RPM just due to what this converter likes and where it wanted to rev to and sit on the brake at. So we toned down the two-step after I fought with some stuff, and it really didn't affect us at all. We were still going 119 60 foots, pretty solid still. Once we got the car going straight, it felt healthy. The only reason why it slowed down was because I could not keep nitrous pressure up. I have some plans to fix that, but could not keep nitrous pressure up. So when you do something like that, your rollout from letting off the button is a little slower naturally. Every car is a little different how fast it can leave, and this car, it's just slower. It is what it is. So you can see I let off the button right before the green. I was already off the button, but he was already moving out. You can see in this other clip, look, the car next to me, Squirrel Tuned is them, I believe. They're on YouTube, and they're cool guys. Definitely would like to have them on into the studio at some point. I like what they were doing, and the car that they have is obviously working very well. But you can see my finger comes off the button. I'm kind of holding it in a different way. I switched my buttons. The trans brake is now on the right side, and it used to be on the left side, so I'm still getting used to that. Thankfully, I didn't have any catastrophic issues, but still kind of learning. So getting there. Oh no, my battery's dying. Only got 11 minutes left. So yeah, you can see you can see I tried, but just couldn't make it happen. So I got to be a little quicker now that we're leaving at less RPM. It is what it is. Last year I was 0.9 on the light, was like my slowest at Tx2k, and this year just kind of got me, kind of beat me up a little bit here. But I am now looking at the data on my screen, and one of the things that you can see that's very apparently different is how quickly the RPM rises. So it used to be like a bit of a slower ramp once you let off the button. Like it wouldn't ramp up that quickly to target RPM because we're trying to run the car at, a certain RPM all the time, because that's obviously where it's making peak power and peak boost and everything. Higher in the RPM is where this car likes to be, yada, yada, yada. So we do that, and now this one is getting there so quickly, and then it's also, because it's looser, and then it's also dropping less on the shift. So instead of, red line is RPM, green line is boost, and this is throttle position sensor. So weird that it dropped to 99% for a split second when I let off the button, but shouldn't affect anything. So it raises so quickly now. It used to be like here before it was like fully coupled, and then it just carries across, goes up a little bit right before the shift, drops back down, and then we carry the shift out all the way. Obviously that's map sensor, and it was kind of a little bit up and down, but nothing too crazy. So about 420 kPa, we shift at 8,900, which is pretty perfect. And then lowest boost number we saw was here early on, right there. I don't know why it dipped in boost, but it dipped down to 364 kPa, and that was pretty good. So this time slip, I believe I have here somewhere. So this time slip right here, it went 768 at 167. So you guys can see here on this video, I'll show you right where I dumped the parachute right there. See, that's about 1,000 foot. I dumped the parachute, so it was on a really fast pass, and it was a slow 60 foot, 121, because nitrous pressure was a little low, and then it went 494 to the eighth at 145. So super good eighth mile, super good short track, mid track there. 325 to the 330 is super healthy. The best I've ever done was this event at 324.7, and that thing was flying. It was in the heat of the day though. It was a little, well, not the heat of the day because it was cold in Texas, but it was a little colder out. It was a little hotter out, so that probably helped. That probably negatively impacted it, and then once it was cold out at night, it was doing that. So the car has been 176 before, so we're about 10 miles an hour off what we normally do, and that was because I lifted early. So we probably would have been like a 760 or a 750 something maybe if I was floored it all the way through, but he was out on me, and I didn't want him to hit the brakes right before the end because, I didn't want him to cause me to break out without him breaking out, because that would have been a real bummer. I was worried about me getting kind of left holding the bag, you could say, where I was trying to catch him and he was already out on me, so he had real estate to hit the brakes, and I did not have the ability to slow down but still beat him, if you get what I mean. So I was banking on him breaking out and me not breaking out, but I was worried about what he was going to do. So kind of had to play the game a little bit there, trying to strategize. Somebody said I out-strategized myself, but that's not true. I just got out-treed. He went 0.30 on the light. I went 0.19. He went 0.03. Terrible on the light. I deserve that loss. If you're ever that slow on the light, you probably earned your loss. So it is what it is there. But my other fast time slip was not this one. This one was not me. I don't have all of them here. I'm missing one of them. I couldn't find it. So this one in testing, in qualifying where I wheelied, you can see it went 1.19 and then it kind of went into a wheelie. So I had to let off the gas, get back onto, and it went 8.0 at 176. So I was off the gas on that one for a total of 1.8 seconds. Obviously, you can't just subtract that. That doesn't make any sense. But you can infer that if I wasn't off the gas for a total of almost 2 seconds, this car would have went a lot faster on that pass. So went 176, and that was in it all the way at 8.0. So you can take a lot off of that, maybe a half a second, maybe a little bit more. Like, that was on a really good pass, and I think it was going to be a really, really spicy PB, but it went into a little bit of a wheel stand and had to lift. So that is what it is there. Not a real huge bummer, because if I did go a PB there, it would have put me into the A class anyways. So I was kind of happy being in the B class, the pro class, if you will. And yeah, so that was where we were at on that one. My computer died here, so this guy's dead. Unfortunately, I'm trying to use 2 cameras and a microphone, so this is going to be awesome to edit. But I was also very slow on the tree there, and this one I was only a 0.131, and that was also a pretty good pass. I went 496 at 144, 7777 at 159. So I was way out of the gas on this one also. Again, I was trying not to break out because the guy next to me lost his intake pipe for his turbo, so he had no boost, and I noticed that probably about 1,000 feet almost, and then I was like, oh no, if I don't let off the gas here, he's going to win, even though he only went 11:20. So I could have kicked myself out of the class by just not realizing he had already broken, basically. So thankfully, I realized that at the last second. I noticed he wasn't next to me, and I tossed the chute and got on the brakes real hard, trying to slow down. But that would have also been, a 60 or even a little bit faster, because the 1,000 foot on that was 6.438, and the 1,000 foot on the other one was a 6.409. So it was only 3 numbers off of what the other PB was. So we weren't too far off, but it was probably good that I dumped the chute. So I got to show you guys a little bit of the data and explain some of the new things that we're seeing with this converter. I know maybe to the untrained person, it may sound like that converter's tighter, but it's actually looser in a lot of spots to where it makes it not drop as hard on the shift and makes it couple faster, gets on the brake in 2.5 seconds instead of like 3.5 or 4 seconds. This is no dump valve on the trans, so it gets right up on the brake. It gets it to do that, and then, not dropping hard on the shifts helped me stay in peak power a lot better through second gear. Getting to target RPM helps me a huge amount, and getting on the brake helps me a lot to be that quick. You can hear it on the 2-step. It sounds very happy, and I'm actually really pumped that we ended up getting into this one. Jason at ATF wanted to put me into this one, but he was still kind of testing it on Pedro's car. Pedro's car is down for a little bit, Baltic Supra, and he wasn't able to use it anymore at the moment. So for the next few months probably. So it was kind of a perfect opportunity for me to take it and do some testing on a different combination. I have a Powerglide. He has a Turbo 400. He has a Pro Mod Turbo, which is why they did this, so that they could get the Pro Mod Turbo to get up on the brake really fast and not drop anything on the shifts, because if you get that turbo out of peak efficiency, it's a big problem. My turbo can light back up pretty quickly. His turbo, not so much. So huge shout out to ATF for putting together this awesome converter. It blew me away, and a bunch of other people that saw this data. They were like, wow, I can't believe it does that. It got up on the brake with no nitrous. It got up on the brake, we were able to get it on the brake, no nitrous. We were able to get it on the brake with no dump valve. It's insane how efficient this converter is. It literally, the car doesn't even have the dump valve on it right now. It's sitting on my desk. So I can't say enough good things about that. I can't say enough good things about Alpha at Induction Performance. I was sending him logs at night, after the race. He would send me back updates, and we would kind of keep going from there. But I cannot say enough good things about the team that got this going. Absolutely insane, incredible. So pumped about our Tx2k trip. It worked out really well. I'm really happy with how it kind of unfolded for us, and I think we have a really good car to get it into a 50, maybe a 49 if we really throw the beans at it, because we're running a little bit less boost than we normally run and less leave RPM than we normally run. So if we can figure out the 60 foot a little bit, I got some more ideas to maybe get like a 114 60 foot would help us so drastically on the back end. Jason at ATF also has a different stator for that converter that we're thinking about trying. It's a little bit tighter, so we're thinking maybe that would help it through the mid-range. You know, it's kind of a give and take. You need it a little loose to get up on the brake, to get up to RPM, to not drop on the shift, but then you also want it a little tight to put the power through the car and actually hit it really hard with some power without it adding more slip. So it's the give and take on the converter deal. But I think we have a really good combo right now and a really good idea. And I have a race coming up in the next couple weeks. So once we get the car back together, fuel pump and stuff, I am super excited to hit that thing as hard as we can. I got some ideas how to keep nitrous pressure up at all times, not just when I'm, pulling up to the staging lanes, because that's normally where I heat up my nitrous, is at the pits and in the lanes a little bit. And then once I'm strapped in the car, and Tx2k was bad, I was strapped in the car for like 2 hours. I had no ability to warm up the nitrous bottle, so I just saw it on the screen dropping pressure. We were leaving at like 750 pounds of pressure, and we normally try to leave at like 950 pounds of nitrous pressure in the tank. So 950 psi of nitrous pressure. So it was a bad deal. It's tough for that situation, really hot. So with some of these new things that I've learned and figured out, I hope to be able to get the car to go in the 40s is the goal. And that would be really cool. I think if we can get a 40 out of this combo, that little 86 millimeter turbo, I id it from Induction Performance, Precision Turbo, they keep them on the shelf. If I can get a 40 out of that thing, I will be absolutely blown away. When I built this car, I just wanted an 8-second car. So for it to have the same build, really didn't change anything from the initial build besides little things here and there. For it to be the same build, and now we're pushing it to almost 2 seconds faster than I even wanted. I was like, if it goes 899, I'm happy. And now I'm like, if it goes 740s, I'm happy. So super pumped on that. And yeah, that's where we're at, guys. I'm just going to post this out. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope this nerdy talk was fun and enjoyable. The first part of the video was me getting the car kind of situated and stuff, but that's going to do it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and if you want to see more of the podcast studio stuff, check out Bogetti Studios. We've had a lot of cool guests on. Most recently, just had Matt Hopel on. Next episode will be Fred and Whitty from 1320 Video, so that'll be a fun one. But that's going to do it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Keep it saucy. I'll see you next time. He had me. He was better on the tree. He had more car than me out.